All right, let's dive into something wild. We're tuning in to the police radio chatter from rural Newton County, where what starts as a pretty standard call about a car accident, well, it spirals into one of the weirdest pursuits you're ever going to hear about. This is the story of a ghost car, and we're piecing it together from the real-time dispatches of the officers trying to make sense of it all.
I mean, you've got to ask yourself this, right? This is the core problem of this whole thing. A car accident gets reported, but by the time help is on the way, the main piece of evidence, the car itself, the entire scene, poof, it's just gone. It's an immediate and, frankly, a baffling problem for law enforcement.
So where does a story this bizarre even begin? Well, it all kicks off with one single strange call to dispatch that starts a chain reaction of even stranger events.
Okay, so get this. Dispatch gets a call about a white Toyota 4Runner that's rolled over. Standard procedure, right? But then the report gets a crazy update. Somehow, the vehicle managed to get back on all four wheels, spin out, and just take off. A car that by all rights should be a total wreck has literally vanished from its own crash scene.
And you can just hear the frustration in the officer's voice with this quote. It perfectly sums up the problem they're facing. Trying to find one specific moving car on all these winding country roads, man, that is a true needle in a haystack situation. The search is on, but they're already playing catch-up.
All right, so with the car on the run, the first thing police have to do is figure out exactly what they're looking for and if this runaway vehicle is already on their radar for something else.
And this is just Police 101, right? One of the first things an officer asks dispatch is, hey, is there already an alert out for a car like this? They've got to know if they're walking into a situation that's already been developing.
And that brings us to some classic cop lingo. You'll hear them say BOLO. It's super simple. It just stands for Be on the Lookout. Think of it as a heads up, an alert that goes out to all law enforcement about a person, or in this case, a vehicle they need to find. So the officer's basically asking, is there already a BOLO on this 4Runner?
The answer comes back from dispatch loud and clear, nope, nothing. This is a brand new incident. The only recent alert they had was for a completely different car, a black Suzuki, and that was out of Boone County. So this white 4Runner is a totally new and unknown factor.
So, bam, just like that, they've got their target. The official BOLO goes out to every unit in the area. Be on the lookout for a white Toyota 4Runner last seen fleeing the scene of its own rollover accident. The hunt is officially on.
Now, just as they're getting organized and the search is getting underway, the whole situation is about to take a sharp, much more dangerous turn. This is the moment a quiet search becomes a very urgent pursuit.
And then, a breakthrough. A citizen calls dispatch with a fresh sighting. They say the vehicle just tore right past their house on County Road 4200, which the locals all call Mount Hershey Road. The ghost car? Well, it isn't a ghost anymore. It's been spotted. And listen to how the witness describes it. This isn't just someone trying to discreetly drive away. The caller says it sounded like the driver was tearing the hillside up. That paints one heck of a picture, doesn't it? It suggests total recklessness, a vehicle being pushed way past its limits on these rough roads.
And then, this is the line that changes everything. Dispatch relays this chilling detail from the witness. The noise was so loud, so violent, the witness couldn't tell if it was the engine backfiring or if someone inside the 4Runner was actually shooting a gun. In that one instant, the whole dynamic shifts. This is no longer just a weird hit and run. Now it's a potentially armed and extremely dangerous situation.
So the second you throw the possibility of gunfire into the mix, the response immediately kicks into a higher gear. What started as a local county issue is about to become a major multi-agency operation.
And right as the tension is cranking up to 11, the police get their biggest lead so far. Another witness calls in and tells dispatch they are, and I quote, about 99% sure they know who's behind the wheel. The search for a ghost car has now become a hunt for a specific person.
And you can just see how fast they mobilize here. Dispatch doesn't keep this in-house. They're immediately looping in the state police, and they're notifying the sheriff's offices in the neighboring counties, Searcy and Boone. They're casting a wide net, basically trying to build a box around this guy because they know he might try to cross county lines to get away.
And that's it. That's where the radio transmission ends. Police have a suspect's name, they're looking for a specific vehicle, and they have a potential report of gunfire. A massive, multi-agency net is closing in. But the final chapter, the resolution, it's just lost to the airwaves. It really makes you wonder, not just what happened to this one driver, But how many other stories like this play out unresolved on the quiet back roads of the country?